Do I need to call you the female version of Steph Curry, or do I need to call Steph Curry the male version of Caitlin Clark? I mean, which one is it?
This league has been handed their Michael Jordan, Steph Curry, and they hate her.
The WNBA says it wants to grow. It claims it's chasing greatness, but every move it makes, every headline it creates, tells a different story. Because when a true superstar finally showed up, a once-in-a-generation talent who could have changed everything, the league didn't celebrate her. It attacked her. Caitlin Clark didn't just bring hype. She brought hope, the kind of attention the WNBA had been begging for since day one.
Caitlin's teammates have her back. But why is that even still a thing in the WNBA? This league has been handed their Michael Jordan, Steph Curry, and they hate her. Why? And don't say race. The two women that just shoved Caitlin there, also white.
Sold-out arenas, record-breaking viewership, merchandise flying off the shelves. For the first time in decades, the world actually cared about women's basketball. But instead of protecting that momentum, the league turned on itself. Players started taking cheap shots. Coaches downplayed her impact. Media voices, the same ones who cry for support, began spinning stories about privilege, toughness, and earning respect. And that's when it hit people watching at home. The WNBA isn't failing because fans hate women's sports, it's failing because it doesn't know how to handle success. When real star power finally arrives, the kind that demands attention.
The delusional fan base disrespected the WNBA players by saying she's going to go in that league and tear it apart. These people are so disrespectful and so unknowledgeable and so stupid. And Diana said it best. This kid's in for a rude awakening. This kid's on the wrong team. She's got the wrong skill set to handle the physicality of that league. She's just not built for the physicality of this league.
The league treats it like a threat instead of a blessing. So tonight, we're breaking down the uncomfortable truth behind the WNBA's identity crisis, why it keeps gatekeeping greatness, sabotaging superstars, and standing in the way of its own rise. Because until the league faces this truth, it'll never grow. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe, because this one's about to get real. The WNBA was built on good intentions, empowerment, equality, opportunity. But somewhere along the way, it traded progress for politics and competition for control. For years, the league struggled to find its identity. It wanted NBA-level respect without NBA-level entertainment. It wanted cultural influence without earning mass appeal. And whenever anyone questioned that, they were labeled as haters or Then came Caitlin Clark, a rookie who shattered college records, sold out arenas, and drew millions of new fans to a league desperate for relevance. She was everything the WNBA said it wanted: talented, confident, and marketable. But her arrival didn't unite the league, it divided it. Instead of embracing a new face of the game, some players saw her as an outsider, someone who hadn't paid her dues.
But you know what's crazy? The NBA just signed a $75 billion media contract. They don't even need a face right now, but they're still obsessed with it. The WNBA handed a Jordan-level face of their league and spit in her face. Act like they don't need her.
Because this isn't about one player, it's about a pattern, a league that's been protecting comfort zones instead of creating superstars. To understand why the WNBA struggles to create superstars, you have to look at how it reacts when one finally emerges. Step 1. Media manipulation. The league's media ecosystem doesn't promote greatness, it manufactures narratives. The so-called Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese rivalry, it isn't real. It's a PR illusion designed to spark engagement. But instead of celebrating elite talent, it turns the spotlight into a war zone, pitting players against each other instead of building the league around excellence. Step 2. Insecure leadership. When the NBA found Jordan, it built around him. When golf found Tiger, it protected him. But when the WNBA found Caitlin Clark, it hesitated, afraid she might overshadow others. That fear of imbalance is why the league stays small. It would rather be equal in obscurity than unequal.
We're seeing this big surge of interest in women's sports in particular. You know, the WNBA is having a great period. Netflix just picked up the rights to the Women's World Cup. I remember during the Final Four a couple years ago, I was at a hotel somewhere and went downstairs into the bar, and it was all guys my age kind of jumping up and down and having beers and cheering. And then I looked up and they were watching Caitlin Clark in the Final Four. So it feels to me like there's this real
in success. Step 3. Internal resentment. Players see the sponsorships, the attention, the fanfare, and instead of being inspired, some grow bitter. That bitterness plays out on the court. Hard fouls, icy handshakes, and dismissive interviews. It's not competition, it's resistance. And step 4. Cultural gatekeeping. The league wants fans, but only the right kind of fans. It wants growth, but only on its own terms. The moment someone doesn't fit the mold, the system turns cold. It's a cycle, one that keeps repeating every time a potential superstar shows up. The WNBA says it wants equality, visibility, and respect. But when Caitlin Clark brought all three, the league suddenly looked uncomfortable in its own success. Every foul against her became more aggressive, every comment more personal. And instead of protecting the player who just revitalized their audience, the WNBA doubled down on silence. No statements, no accountability, just a shrug and the same tired line. That's part of the game. But fans saw through it. They saw the cheap shots, the late hits, and the welcome to the league taunts. They saw a rookie carrying the weight of an entire franchise and an entire brand while being targeted like an intruder. And the hypocrisy? It's staggering.
These ladies, and I'm a WNBA fan, they cannot have this Caitlin Clark thing up any worse if they tried. People believe what we say on television. Just because people don't like you or your personality, they can't get on TV and slander you. It's just total bullshit.
What's happening to Caitlin Clark isn't just unfair. It's self-inflicted sabotage. The WNBA finally got the superstar it's been begging for, and now it's trying to humble her instead of help her. That's not growth. That's fear. And fear is exactly what's holding this league back. At its core, the WNBA's problem isn't talent, it's identity. For nearly 3 decades, the league has been caught between two missions: to grow as a competitive sports brand and to serve as a cultural statement. And those goals, while noble on their own, have started to collide. When you build a league around message instead of market, you create confusion. Players are told they're fighting for representation, not entertainment. Executives chase validation instead of vision, and fans are asked to support instead of enjoy. That's why every time someone like Caitlin Clark shows up, someone who brings a mainstream audience, fresh energy, and crossover appeal, the system panics.
It literally pisses me off when people are like, she's not the face of the league.
Who would be?
What?
Sabrina? No.
No, there's really good, well-known people in our league. I'm not discrediting them. We have a lot of in our league.
Yeah.
Hell yeah to that. I'm all for that. But when people try to argue that she's not the face of our league,
Yeah.
or if our league would be where we're at without her, you're dumb as
Yeah.
You're literally dumb as
because she exposes the gap between what the league wants to be and what it actually is. Financially, the WNBA depends on the NBA's support. Culturally, it depends on being seen as progressive. But commercially, it hasn't figured out how to build real stars who transcend the game. The result is an uncomfortable truth. The league isn't built to handle fame. It's built to manage it, to keep it controlled, collective, and politically safe. That's why players who stand out too much are quietly pushed back toward the pack. That's why individuality feels dangerous. And that's why Caitlin Clark, the league's biggest asset, is treated like a liability. Until the WNBA embraces the idea that success doesn't dilute equality, it will keep confusing exposure with acceptance and popularity with betrayal. This isn't just about one player's struggle. It's about a league still afraid of its own potential. The ripple effect of this insecurity is massive, and it's starting to show. Sponsors that once flooded in for Caitlin Clark's debut season are now watching the league's tone shift. Media attention that could have fueled long-term growth is turning into social controversy. Instead of capitalizing on the momentum, the WNBA is dividing its audience, turning what should be a marketing miracle into a cultural minefield.
Supporting Caitlin Clark for a while and what she's been doing for the games. This is my first time seeing them in person, so it's been dope.
What was it like when you saw her hit that three?
Which one? The one that broke the record was crazy. I think she put up 2 feet beyond half court. So
this woman, Caitlin Clark, she's not the tallest. She doesn't have a crazy frame that, but she got women's basketball on lock right now. And she hasn't really been in it in a while. And a lot of people haven't seen a lot of it. Anything that happens with her is going to be magnified, right? Which is great.
The NBA, the NFL, tennis, even women's soccer has learned that star power drives everything. You build around it, you protect it, you monetize it. Yet the WNBA keeps mistaking equality for sameness, confusing unity with uniformity. And in doing so, it keeps erasing the very individuality that fans connect with. The sad part? This could have been the WNBA's golden era. Instead, it's becoming a cautionary tale in how to waste potential. Because when a league starts resenting its own success, it doesn't just lose players, it loses purpose. At the end of the day, this isn't about one rookie, one rivalry, or one bad foul. It's about a league standing at a crossroads, torn between protecting its comfort and pursuing its potential. Caitlin Clark didn't create the WNBA's problems. She revealed them. She exposed how fragile the system really is, how easily empowerment turns into insecurity, and how quickly support disappears when someone shines too bright. Because deep down, this league isn't being held back by critics or casual fans. It's being held back by fear. Fear of change, fear of individuality, fear of success that doesn't fit the narrative. The truth is simple. You can't build a superstar league if you punish your superstars. You can't demand national attention and then attack the player who brings it. And you can't grow a fan base by gatekeeping the very people who want to help you succeed. The WNBA has everything it needs to explode into the mainstream: talent, history, visibility. But none of it matters if the league keeps confusing control with culture and pride with progress. If the WNBA truly wants to evolve, it has to make a choice. Embrace greatness or stay small forever. Protect your stars or lose them to apathy. Stop preaching growth and start earning it, because right now, the biggest opponent the WNBA faces isn't the NBA or the media or even the fans. It's itself. If you believe the WNBA can still rise, if you want honesty, change, and real progress, hit like, share this video, and subscribe, because the conversation starts here.